When life gets real, the mic stays warm, hosted by the dad with lots of charm. Insights are sharp and data's tight, Lance already and the joke's online. Hot takes, real talk, keeping it true. From high school halls to podcast queues, live a little, learn a lot. Turn it up, this show is hot. Grab your coffee, let's get into it. No filter, no fluff, just real talk. Let's do it. Ready or not, here we go. It's the time for love, man, to start the show.
Your major only matters for your first job. Welcome to Hot Takes with the Murph Man. Today, we are deconstructing the passion myth and showing you how to pick an undergraduate program that actually pays off. Most students choose a program because it sounds good on paper, only to realize later they've built a career they hate. The fuse is lit. Murph Man, take the mic.
Agents on my out of my 1,000 friends. Yeah, what do you mean?
You were muted this whole time.
How am I muted?
I don't know. I wasn't even on StreamYard.
Okay. You had me muted over there?
On what? StreamYard? No.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wasn't even on it.
Am I still muted?
No.
I'm muted now?
No.
Okay. You're the one controlling StreamYard for microphones.
How?
I'm a guest in the room. You're the one with the main room, so you're the one controlling the sound. Sorry about this. Okay. Technical difficulties that happen. Okay.
Well, it's because I wasn't even on StreamYard. That's why. I was only on SplayCam and Streamlabs.
Okay, but I don't know. Well, for those of you who are coming on Military Broadcast Radio, I'm so sorry. I apologize for that. I don't know what happened, right? But we'll just.
It's all good. It happened.
That's one reason we keep it recorded. Yeah. We have our backups of backups of backups.
You want to turn it down a little bit or
turn it down?
The tablet?
It's on mute.
What do you mean it's on mute?
Whatever you did changed.
Yeah, I unmuted you.
Turn off the monitor on that.
What monitor?
On split cam.
It's off. It's been off.
It's been off? All right. So on StreamYard, what's the speaker?
Speaker on what?
Oh, on the laptop, like hear it out.
Yeah.
Echoing.
Yeah. No. What's the audio? On StreamYard there.
Us. Same thing.
What's this channel?
1 and 2.
Okay. Turn the volume down on the computer.
Like how much?
Just turn it down all the way. Not mute. So you hear me there. Okay. I know it's gonna be a little annoying. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right.
You can't just turn it down, the volume on the tablet itself?
All right, it's down. Does that make a difference?
It's a little better. I mean, I don't want to.
Well, right now we're gonna keep going. We'll take a little break in just a sec. So, all right. So anyway, here we go. So we're just gonna jump right back into the show.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. To get things started, I'd like to know what is the question on everyone's mind when we talk about the burning question.
Why your major is a launch pad, not a lock-in. Today's burning question looks at the strategy behind your degree. Here is today's burning question. What is the term for a secondary field of study that complements your major and adds a specialized layer to your resume? Is it A, a concentration, B, a minor, C, an elective track, D, dual enrollment? Ready to get things moving? Let us know what the flashpoint is, Murph man.
Term for secondary field of study that complements your major and adds a specialized layer. Any guesses? You have a concentration, a minor, an elective track, or a dual enrollment.
I'm gonna say B, a minor.
A minor.
Okay.
What, you agree with him?
Yeah, I agree. Minor.
I agree.
Epstein.
God. That's so sad what's going on with that. So anyway, the flashpoint is B, a minor. When students can change their major because they discover a new passion, adding a minor is a strategic way to specialize your skills. You know, you never know what you're going to like until you actually start doing things. And that's what makes it so much fun. That as you're going to school, you're learning different things and you're learning new things, and you get exposed to the world. And that's the whole point of college. Makes you a well-rounded person because you can talk about anything. Don't think of it as you're failing, but think of it as a way that you're growing because you learn yourself more. You don't know what you're exposed to. You'll never have a chance. Like Connor growing up, he didn't play a lot of sports. He wants to play sports, Now, it's sad that he hasn't been able to do what he wants to do with that. And that's what I don't like, But it is what it is. So I'm hoping that he doesn't start doing kinesiology and becomes a PE teacher.
I'm never gonna do that.
But you like sports. See, you don't know that yet.
Or you could kinesiology. Oh, you're just saying like go to kinesiology and then doing something like PE, right? Which that doesn't pay.
Yeah.
Because honestly, just go to kinesiology and then just go to Planet Fitness and just make some money after that. That's what I would do. I would just go there and just like do kinesiology and just like be a PT and then just like you can easily make so much money off.
Well, I mean, then why don't you?
Who, just in general? Or
Well, you. I mean, if you want to do it, I mean,
no.
That's not what he wants to do. He's just saying it's
like if I go back, well, it's because I don't like personal training. I'll be honest. That's something I wouldn't do. But I mean, if people have the patience for it, I feel like if you have the patience for it, which is the number one thing. If you have patience in it, then do it. I would say like.
do you know the Planet Fitness model for business?
Oh, you told me it's like the fact that like they keep the subscription so cheap because people are gonna forget about it months later. You're like, oh, what? Only $10 a month? That's nothing. Like I'll
eventually go. Yeah.
I'll eventually go.
And that's how they make all that money.
That's crazy. That's smart though.
Well, Costco does the same thing. Their main money comes from the memberships, so that's why they don't really mark up their products. And they're almost at cost on other products because they make so much money on the membership. So that's why Costco tends to be cheaper than other places.
It's just every business is now realizing subscription based anything is what's going to be the future. Honestly, subscriptions. That's literally it.
Yeah, I hate that. In my day, I'll show you. I have a wall full of DVDs and CDs that I have collected over the years, and I own them.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever seen the movie Dogma.
Well, Ben Affleck and Matt Damon.
Yeah.
I'm a big Ben Affleck fan, but no, that's one that I haven't gotten to yet. Dogma.
Well, it was one of their first ones, and they just came out with a new DVD, the 40th anniversary of it.
A lot of deleted scenes, huh?
Well, I don't know. I don't want to open it.
I imagine a lot of deleted scenes.
Yeah. What's interesting about it is the reason it took so long to come out was because Harvey Weinstein, of all people, the Me Too movement, owned the rights to it.
Yep.
And finally, he needed money for his legal defense or whatever, and he sold it. So they were able to get it back and do all that. So I think that's pretty cool. What do you think? I've tried to get him to watch Dogma, and he just hasn't been into it. So we'll see what happens.
I will say this: the Kevin Smith movies, like you watch them now, like they're really hard to kind of get into if you watch them now. But like I think I recently saw Chasing Amy last year. Like that was the first time I saw Chasing Amy, and I'm not gonna lie, like I liked it just because I'm like, yeah, I grew up with these kind of movies in the early 2000s, right? But like I feel like people now would watch it and be like.
I'm so lost.
Yeah, you are.
I'm so lost.
But you know what I'm talking about, right? If you know Chasing Amy, it's one of those things that you don't realize. Some of it's genius behind it, but it's not everyone's cup of tea. Like Clerks.
Oh yeah, Clerks.
I couldn't get into those. Dogma is the same way, but for whatever reason, I like Dogma. And I also love, what was it? The Jesus, Buddy Jesus.
I was. Is that the name of the movie?
No, it's Dogma, but Buddy Jesus. Remember I told you, remember George Carlin, the comedian? George Carlin, like a famous. He'll show you right now. George Carlin was one of the most famous comedians at the time, and very dirty. He had like the 7 words you can't say on TV. And he played the bishop, right, in Dogma. And he talked about how he wants to be more hip and get with the younger kids, so they come up with Buddy Jesus. So no, it's over there, kind of. He has a duplicate screen.
Oh yeah, that's
so
true.
Do Buddy Jesus real quick so you can see it. Watch this, dude. Sorry, you guys, you can't see it on screen. Look it up on your phone, Buddy Jesus Dogma. But
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah. Everyone, I remember everyone would have that as their Facebook profile picture or something. Yeah,
right.
yeah, I would see that all the time.
Yeah, I forgot about this.
Those guys would always just troll you on Facebook too, on the comments.
Yes. Yeah.
People.
Yeah. And so everyone knows Buddy Jesus. Anyway, that's from Dogma. You know, it's one of those things that there's so many things that came out of that are amazing.
Yeah.
But if you ever get a chance to watch Dogma, it's a really interesting movie. I like it a lot.
It stirred up a lot of controversy. I think that funny video of Kevin Smith on the street. No one knew who Kevin Smith was, but he was there on the streets, protesting with them too, just as a joke, as a gimmick for the news. That was funny. But I mean, yeah, those Kevin Smith movies, man, like they're movies where it's like if you're not in the '90s or from the '90s, even early 2000s, like you're gonna have a hard time watching it unless you could really just appreciate, filmmaking. I think,
It's one of those things you just have to be into it. During COVID, because we had nothing to do, I started making him watch all these old movies, and one of them I had him watch was Blazing Saddles.
Oh yeah.
He got angry because it was.
I wasn't angry. I was just, yeah.
It was so racist.
Yeah.
And he hated it.
I mean, that's
like I'm racist, but not that racist.
I think everyone is racist to some point. Everyone has those stereotypical thoughts or those comments and phrases and whatever.
Only for jokes, not actual racism.
But that's still being racist.
Well, with my friends, I'm not like saying that to everyone though.
Okay.
I only say to like my close friends, because that's our humor. But I'm not like expressing it to everyone on the streets.
When I was in the Army, there was a group of guys I was talking to, and I was like their token white boy. And we hung out and we were doing stuff. And one time we were having a conversation about races and whatnot. And this one guy said, "I hate being black." And he looked at me and says, "You can never understand what it means to be black." And I said, "You're right, I can't. But I'm going to tell you something. You're one of the purest brothers I've ever met." He was so dark-skinned. And I said, "You're like blue. You're so dark." And I said, and I wasn't trying to be insulting or anything, but you're black and you need to be proud of your race. Yeah. Like I'm 50% Hispanic Mexican. Connor's 75% Mexican. He's more Mexican than I am. Right? What?
Oh, you're so dark. You're blue.
I'll tell you what. On that note, I think we need to do today's hot take. What do you think, Connor?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Here's today's hot take.
Stop picking majors based on prestige alone. Today's hot take is that a major isn't a life sentence, it's a launch pad. The smartest students don't just pick a subject they like, they pick a set of skills the world is actually willing to pay for. If you don't treat your major like a business investment, you're just paying for an expensive hobby. Murphman, what's the play?
A major is not a life sentence, it's a launch pad. The smartest students don't just pick a subject they like, they pick a set of skills the world actually is willing to pay for. If you don't treat your major like a business investment, you're just paying for an expensive hobby.
Pretty much. I learned the hard way.
What do you mean?
Well, back in LA, I went to school for film for like a year, and this was like the worst time to do film. If this was like the 80s and 90s, I probably would have been fine, right? Because like I think that's when like it was booming, the film industry or whatever. Yep. But when I went back to school in LA, I went to school for film, and then this is like the time when like AI was like finally making like waves, with like what's that, Sora? Remember?
Yeah.
Sora was a big thing. When all those were a big thing. And then not only that, but I started learning, like working in the industry. I was already working with like top music video director. I don't want to say, but he was like one of the top ones, right? Working with like a lot of rappers, like Offset and them or whatever. And even him, like I remember being behind the scenes with him, and he was even like saying too, yeah, man, like I'm trying to find a new career or whatever. Music stuff, music video stuff, this film stuff doesn't pay anymore money. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, yeah, like we're only getting paid like $1,000 for a music video. And then imagine that, like you set up a whole budget of like $10,000. You have to hire a bunch of people, rent cameras, rent the lights, rent the studio, whatever, blah blah. Blah. And like a top music video director is only making $1,000 walking away from that. And I'm like, this is not sustainable. This is not livable. You're right, especially if you're out there in LA. This is nothing practical. So from there, like even if you're looking at like AI businesses, looking at other businesses, and this was back in 2024. So you can imagine, like picking a major nowadays, it's like, man, like you have to do something that's really going to last like 10, 20 years.
Oh, okay, well, hold on. There's two parts here I want to talk about. One, the first time we were on the show, you talked about AI, because that's why I wanted you to come on, right? And you said, if you think back to the 80s with the dot-com bubble, you get invested in that, right? And then in the 90s, you have the computer stuff and all the internet is blowing up. And then in 2000, there's this thing with Bitcoin. Yeah, the crypto, and that started coming out. And you're like, if you don't get involved with it, then the same thing is happening now with AI. Jump on the bandwagon and learn it, or you're gonna be left behind. I'm a teacher, and AI can take over my job. They actually, in some districts, they're already doing it.
It's taking away a lot of lawyer jobs too.
Well,
it really can take. I mean, think about it. Like
some jobs, well, like when you do business documents and everything online, you can definitely get away with that.
But think of it too, like you can talk to an AI chatbot and be like, "Hey, how innocent or how guilty am I? If this is not blah 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 blah," and then next thing you know, like it just tells you everything. Wow. Because even lawyers are afraid of AI too. That was a big thing. Like now, like a lot of states or a lot of there's like a lot of government restriction on AI being used for like law.
Yes.
They're scared that it can take away a job.
But you think about it, the programmers are the ones going to have the jobs, right? But we were talking about Cloudbot.
Oh yeah,
and well, it's now Molted. Moltbot, yeah, I couldn't remember what it was, but it's taking. You literally give access to your computer to this thing, and it does everything for you, and actually rewrites code and everything. Like, why are programmers needed? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's one of those things that it's crazy. And what I like about there's some jobs like nursing that you have to have those people's interactions. Doctors, they can do surgeries with the robots and the mechanics and the Da Vinci tools and whatnot. Amazing that they can go in and remove your gallbladder through a little hole. Nowadays, you know what I mean. But as far as being replaced, you think about what jobs can never be replaced. Mechanics.
No. Well, unless we get a robot, but even that's that's still a few more years from now. But
everything's getting replaced by AI. We're becoming Wall-E. We're becoming those fat bastards floating around in chairs, right?
With the Apple Vision Pros.
That's funny.
AI it really is. That's why people either got to step up, and I think that's really what it is. It comes down to people stepping up. Because the way I see it now is the fact that it's not gonna replace 100%, but it can definitely replace like the people that just show up to work, collect a paycheck, and go home, and that's it. People that can actually contribute, those are the ones that are gonna stay.
What's happening?
I don't know why the feedback was there, but I'll tell you what, let's take a break and let's see if we can figure this out. Connor, what do you think? You ready for a break?
Yeah, sounds great.
It's time for a break. Hot Takes with the Murph Man will return after these messages.
The station where our veterans' voices are heard, MBR Talk.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
According to the VA's Suicide Data Report, an average of 22 veterans die by suicide every single day. This figure is a sobering reality and a crisis that demands our immediate attention and compassion. We must recognize and address the fact that every 24 hours, 22 veterans are losing their lives to suicide. The war doesn't always end when our veterans come home. The invisible wounds they carry, wounds that are real and heavy, require continuous support. No veteran should have to carry this burden alone. Many veterans experience stress and disconnection as they navigate life after service. But there is hope, there is help, and you are not alone in this fight. There's a vibrant community ready to support you, offering friendship, understanding, and shared experiences. You served your country, now let us serve you. Don't fight the toughest battle in silence. Your mission now is to reach out. Dial 988, then press 1. Text them at 838255. The Veterans Crisis Line is available 24/7. Every day, we save lives. Your life is invaluable, and your service is honored. Let's work together to make 22-0 again. No veteran should face their struggles alone. Together, we can ensure every veteran finds the support and hope they deserve.
He gets help, but he still feels off. Sees an ad on the TV about a dog batting said, "This is a man's best friend." Whoa, so he goes one day and he picks it up. Never thought a dog could bring so much love and put a smile on his face. But he's finally found a saving grace. He needs help, but he don't know the path to take or the way to go to be free. Put his mind at ease. We will help, 'cause we can't stand to see a soldier go to God by their own hands. We will do everything we can to make 22-0 again.
Before we get back to the show, I'd like to pause for something that matters. I was inspired by Ryan Spencer's song, Make 22-0 Again. I'd like to remind you that help is always available 24/7, 365. If you ever feel you need support or are in crisis, call 988 and press 1 or text 838255. There will always be someone ready to listen. Remember, you are not alone.
All right, we are back from break. And I think we need to talk about laying down the coals. These are the terms we're going to talk about in today's show. So let's get back to the laying down the coals.
How to use LinkedIn to reverse engineer your degree. We're laying down the coals so you can navigate the registrar's office like a pro. Here are the terms we will be covering today. The major, your primary area of specialization. Credit hours, the units of value proving class time. General education, core classes designed for a well-rounded perspective. Exploratory track, a flexible path for students who are undecided. Now that the coals are laid, Murph Man, let's discuss the foundation.
The major is your primary area of specialization, right? You have a major of your school studies are going to go there. Credit hours are the units of value proving class time. All right. General education, core classes designed for a well-rounded perspective. And that's what we talk about, the core classes like English, math, science, that, you know, you may not, like you're taking an English major, you want to be an English teacher. Why do I take chemistry? Because you might find out you actually like it. That's the whole point about doing that, you know. And then, of course, the exploratory track, a flexible path for students who are undecided. Now, what's interesting, I know we haven't talked about it ourselves, Javi, but there's a program. Hold on. There's a program online called Career Interest Game. That's our episode 11, by the way. But during the website, you go through it and it gives you 6 categories, and it actually matches your personality to a job. So I want you to think about this. The example I always use is a mortician, people who work in a funeral home. you can actually pick your 3 main categories to help you find a job to match your personality. Doesn't mean you're going to be good at doing it. But like when I took the test, it came out as a dietitian. Wrong thing for me. But a park ranger was one of the categories too. Teacher, consultant, counselor, there was a whole bunch. But I was like, park ranger? And I don't know if you know this, have you ever been to a park, national park?
Yosemite. Yeah.
Okay. In any park rangers. In DC, when we were there, all the sites are national parks. So Connor got a little passport he could take, and he went and get stamps from all the park rangers and stuff, right? You have to be a very social person to be a park ranger because you have to talk about the history of the park, and you have to be able to educate. And so it's like, oh, this is actually pretty cool. And this, had I taken this test at a younger age, I could maybe have become a park ranger because I like history. The thing is, you never know where you're going to be stationed. We have the Chamizal National Park here, and they have the same thing there. So it's one of those things that you don't realize how much your personality makes you happy at work. And some people don't realize what they can do or they want to do, and before they know it, they can find something.
Yeah, definitely.
When we talk about this, Connor, and we talk about your school and everything, what are you considering changing to if you decide to change? Have you ever thought about that?
No, I haven't decided to change into anything yet.
You have an advantage. You had been doing 2 years of cybersecurity in school, so you sort of already know what it's about. Do you think you're going to be more of a programmer type or hardware type?
Hardware. I don't like programming at all.
Have you ever seen the way IT's network systems are set up?
No.
When all the wire setups on the servers?
Oh, well, yeah.
You pull one out, you don't know where you're disconnecting from. That's crazy, And when they run the wires, that's a whole mess. Just server farms are one of those things that really cool.
Data center server farm.
Yeah.
That's money right now, though.
It's going to be money forever. Yeah. But there's so many options there, right? But yeah, that's the thing with his field; it can go anywhere. So that's the nice thing. But I'll tell you what. Let's talk about the story from the fire, and let's talk about Priya.
The secret to choosing a major without the stress. Priya loved biology but wasn't sure she wanted to be a doctor. After shadowing a public health professional, she switched to health policy and found her sweet spot. It was science with a social impact. Her story shows that a major isn't a lock-in, it's a launch pad for discovery. That was a story from the fire. Murphman, are you feeling the heat?
Biology. And let me get back to the screen. She wanted to be a doctor. After shadowing a public health professional, she switched to health policy and found her sweet spot. Science with a social impact. That is something I wanted to do, public health. That's where, when I stopped counseling, I looked into programs for public health. And I was like, this would be a really cool position. My love of science and my counseling position together, And with Priya, she found her social impact. And maybe it's not making as much as she would have as a doctor, but she has job satisfaction. And major isn't a lock-in, like it says, a launch pad. When you think about that, your career and everything can change, but it starts in college. Now, here's a question I have for both of you. What's more important, going to college or finishing college?
I would say, well, it really depends what you land in. Depends what you land in.
Exactly.
I don't think, I think if you go there and trying to learn gender studies, I don't think it's going to matter as much if you're not left or not, I mean, maybe you'll get a paper, but that's about it.
What do you think is the most important thing you get out of college besides some education?
Honestly, this experience.
The-
The most important thing is the experience. You know, of meeting new people, connecting. You know,
Networking.
finding like-minded people.
Finding people who are not like you as well. Think about that, because you're going to have different opinions. You're going to make friends that are from different countries that you've never had to discuss things with.
Yeah.
One of our first shows, we had Trina come into the show from the Philippines, and we were talking about her culture. And she was like, how do you know so much about the culture? I'm like, because I have an interest in Filipino women, you know? But there's also things like Filipino women. If you, like, for example, let's say you and I go to Philippines, right?
Passport runs.
And we go to the Philippines and we meet a woman, right? And we live there for a few weeks. And we have to come back. And we'll come back in a couple months. And, you know, we hang out with her again and whatever the case may be, right? Do you expect her to be faithful to you?
I mean, no. No. I don't think so.
She doesn't know if you're ever coming back,
Yeah.
right? I'm not coming back.
I'm pessimistic on those subjects, so yeah, I'll say no.
Well, their cultures, they're trying to get married.
Yeah.
And they will treat you like a king while you're there. When you're not there, they don't really care, you know? So when I was talking to Trina about this and whatnot, you know, she was just laughing because she's like, that is so true. And there's also a comedian that talks about like the difference between Japanese and Chinese women. You know, a Japanese woman would look really good for you all the time. But if she has to end up taking care of you, you're on your own.
Oh, yeah.
A Chinese woman doesn't tend to do that so much, but they will be there until you die. Because their culture is very different, you know, and you don't know this until you meet someone from those cultures. And that's why I say, you know, networking is one thing because you make friends and you make contacts. And that's one reason Ivy Leagues and all these schools that are so big, it's not about they have a better education. It's they have better contacts.
Oh, definitely.
You know,
like you go to Harvard, you're gonna meet somebody that's like the prince of this country, blah blah blah, and then next thing you know, you go on a private eye.
Yeah. You know, you have a really good story about the guy you like shadowed for like a month. The influencer.
Oh yeah, from Mexico, the Latin American. Or no, he's not from Mexico. He's originally from Argentina, but he got really famous in Mexico. Yeah, Latin American guy. But that was in LA. But that was just off of me having a friend who was pretty much connected. I met him.
And how did you meet that friend?
I met him in LA at one of the clubs.
Just randomly.
Yeah, well, it's because like because there was this guy. So I was in LA, and then there was this guy who's like really big in the Bay Area as a DJ, and then but he's not so big in LA. So I just DM'd him because we had mutuals, and I said, hey, I'm in LA now. I think it's a video guy, whatever. He's like, yeah, come through. So that's pretty much when then everything's connected with him, and then after that, that's when I met the guy who I got really cool with. My boy Stilo. That's pretty much how I got connected with him. And yeah,
So networking is giving you more opportunities than college has.
1,000%.
Right.
1,000%.
And I've told Connor, you're making friends, and make sure you pick good friends.
Oh, yeah.
Right. While I was in the hospital, some of us just came to visit him, and they're a trip. But they're also like, oh my God, his dad's here, you know, and they're like, we gotta behave a certain way, and I'm like, no, you don't, you know, not because I'm cool, but you just be yourself.
Yeah.
Be genuine. You know, a lot of people try to change for other people, and I don't think that always works well.
Not always.
You know, and that's what I love about this guy. He's very genuine, and he's a good-hearted person. Heart's not as good as it used to be, but it's still good.
Hey. What's that supposed to mean?
You just went to the hospital for 4 days of your heart. That's what I mean.
Oh, well, yeah.
You know, and Connor, by the way, speaking of hearts and you're wearing red, I'm wearing my red. St. Valentine's Day, bruh.
Oh, yeah. Happy Valentine's, guys.
Yeah.
We're all single.
It really is.
Yeah, just to buy.
All the holidays are scams. What are you talking about? It's all business.
I mean, some holidays are fun, though.
Well, I didn't say they can't be fun, but like, for example, celebrating Fat Tuesday.
Huh?
Oh, in Vegas.
No. Well, in Vegas would be awesome, but Fat Tuesday is the day before Lent starts for the Catholic religion.
Mm.
So you have one day to party before you go into Lent. That's the whole point.
Go blacking out, like Blackout Wednesday for Thanksgiving. Right?
Yeah. And why that one? Because almost the entire country is off on Thanksgiving Day. So everyone goes out partying Wednesday night. Family comes in to visit and whatnot. I told you, like, with your friends, if you want to go out with your friends, I have zero problem doing that. You know, don't worry about me, right?
Yeah.
So there's so many different things you can do, right? And networking is probably the most important thing that you can ever do.
And I owe a lot of my networking to, well, basically nightlife, just going out. People always said, oh yeah, you know, like going out never does anything, blah blah blah, this and that. And I'm like, not true. Like, you know, that's how I met a lot. That's how I got connected. That's how I network and everything. You know, just going out. You know, obviously, stay good. You know, don't go out and cause a wreck or whatever. But you know, definitely go out, network, meet people. You know, and definitely, I would say the most important part is be genuine, but be overconfident. I would say that's the most important thing when it comes to networking. Being overconfident. At least that's what got me pretty.
Well, the thing about overconfidence is, are you able to back up, walk the talk?
That's what I'm saying, that you have to, you know what I mean? Because well, it really depends who you talk to. Because I feel like most of the time being genuine gets you really far. But obviously, like, you know, if there's like an opportunity that arises, you know, obviously, you know, be very like, you know, like, oh no, I'm the guy. Really good. Like be overconfident, because like that's one thing I learned, because being overconfident, especially in those places or whatever, you just have to, like, you know, show people you're about it.
Well, in my day job, one of our teachers left unexpectedly, and I took over her class. And my boss was like, I don't know if you noticed, but you're in her class. I said, yeah, I've noticed. I'm not even going to ask what happened. She's like, you're going to have to take over the class. That's my job. And, I just jumped in there. And she wrote me something to the effect of, it's so awesome that I'm able to just ask you to do something and have confidence you're going to get it done, no matter what it is. Because I'm that guy who's like, I can do it, raise my hand, right? Overconfidence, though, is something that happens. I've told you the story about EFMB, the expert medical badge, when I was in the Army. I went 3 times for it, okay? The first time I was barely moving in. I hadn't even had my furniture delivered to my house. My wife had to deal with that all by herself because I got sent to the field to do the test. I didn't really give a damn about that one. I don't really count that one. And then the second time, the expert medical badge is for those medics who want to excel. And I was a counselor. So I didn't have that medical training those medics had. And I learned how to be a combat medic. And during the training and everything, I was so confident I was going to pass. And the first thing I did was fail the IV. I forgot to connect the IV. Like most basic stuff. I was so confident, I just didn't take it serious. Now, the third time I went, I was acing everything. I literally was. They actually failed me on purpose just to get me out of there. They're like, you have to do 8 of 10 tests, for example, right? I've done 8, failed 9, failed 10. No, let me do them. They're like, as teachers, you're like, I don't want to examine someone I know is going to pass already. Like, you're good. It's like a NFL playoff team already making the playoffs. Well, not the Bills, but
we make it.
I know you make it. You just don't go any further than that. But when you already know you're going to be playing in the playoffs, what do you do those last 2 games, last game of the season? You slack it a little bit. Yeah. Why would you play them? Why would you risk it? Same thing with teachers. It's like, okay, you already passed. Just do the bare minimum, when you're evaluating people. So being overconfident sometimes can be a detriment to you. Because,
like you said, you talk very big, but, can you walk it, back it up, that's a big part. I mean, because for me, being overconfident, especially in scenarios when it's like, oh shoot, like I'm I'm meeting this person, you know what I mean, or I'm networking with this person or whatever. That's really where you got to be very much I could do it. I'm your person. I'm not gonna fail, right? I would say that's really the most important thing, because I mean, think about how many other people they got letting wanting an opportunity and everything.
Yeah.
And obviously, overconfidence stands out. Like the loudest person in the room is always going to stand out. You know what I mean? I mean, obviously, if you're good at what you do, and that you can easily go there, back it up, or whatever, then definitely be overconfident.
Yeah. You know, and what's interesting is sometimes when you're overconfident, you know, you're sometimes, like I said, you got to be able to walk the talk, you know, walk the walk. When you know you're a badass, you're a badass. You know what I mean? You just know it, and you have to be cocky about it. Not necessarily. You know, Connor is a very humble kid. I say kid, you're an adult now, but I remember one time he was helping his friend study, and he says, "I'm helping her with English, and I mean, she's helping me with English, and I'm helping her with science or physics."
Wow.
And I was like, "Oh, okay." And he goes, "Well, it comes easy to me."
Yeah.
But it wasn't a brag or nothing. You know what I mean? That was just you being you. And sometimes that's even more confidence. And when you're that guy, you know, who they call. That's who I used to be, and I feel I'm getting back to that point. When I was a counselor, any hard case, they would give it to me. Like, oh man, yeah. I had this one day in my career where an employee died at a school. I walked on campus to talk to the counselors, and the principal is walking in her first day of school. She has to deal with an employee who died overnight. Okay, a well-loved employee by the whole neighborhood. She walks into a gang initiation as she's walking on campus, deals with that, gets to her office, and there's a kid in the office asking for help because he was sexually abused by his uncle the night before. And that was her first day on the job as a principal. And she goes to the counselors because, you know, counselors supposed to know what they do. And they said, "We're going to call someone." They called me. And I went in and I handled all three situations. And I got people involved and networked and everything. That's who I used to be. And then with my debriefing experience and everything, where they would call me whenever things would happen. You know, I'd be part of the team that would go out. I wasn't in charge of it, but I was, you know. But it's nice to know when you're that guy. And you're my AI guy. You know that, right? You're going to be my contact on this, okay? So have confidence in that.
Okay.
You know, but like talking about your situation, you moved to El Paso. I don't know if you want to talk about how you decided to come to El Paso or not, you know.
I mean, yeah. I mean, what was it last year? Beginning of last year, like it became just a downward spiral, right? Starting New Year's last year, downward spiral. Like I remember New Year's, yeah, it was New Year's. Pretty much like me and my roommate, we've been friends for like 10 years or so. Him and I have really started having like kind of a rift, and especially New Year's is when it got like even worse because he didn't want me carpooling with him anymore.
Okay.
Because I already had some issues of drinking, going crazy,
Yeah.
And he just got tired of it, and he didn't want to carpool. And I like, dude, but like I need to go there, we're to the club because I got video shoot out and get paid, And then he's like, no, this, and that. Either way, it just ended, with him not taking me eventually, right? No matter how many times I
Right.
And then, we met up at the club, whatever, boom, boom, and I just stayed quiet. Like I didn't want to talk to him. Like, I was upset with him. So I already had that rift with him. And then after that, I didn't even drink New Year's, honestly. That last 2 New Year's, I didn't even drink. But, I think after that, me and another friend went to another spot. Boom, boom. Like, I'll get on with it. But, long story short, for New Year's, it was just bad. And then from there, like a week later, had another downward spiral. Had a big fallout with friends. Had a big fallout with another girl, with a girl too, who I was like seeing for like 3 months. But her and I, we knew each other for like almost a year. So long story short, like that was like the first time I ever like really felt anything, like emotionally invested with anybody. So long story short, I had a fallout with her. I had a fallout with a big friend group. Fallout with a friend of 10 years. And then at that point, I was lost. I didn't know what to do. So fast forward throughout that whole year, pretty much nothing changed. Really. I thought things changed, right? Like I thought I was going sober, going clean, or whatever. But no, I would still be going out partying every Friday, Saturday. Like I just had to, right? Especially being there in LA, it's like everybody, that's all they do. Nobody wants to talk about business. Nobody wants to do anything productive. Just party, Friday, Saturday. And it kept going like that. And it's like, dang, is this really what my life is gonna be? So I think it finally clicked and it hit me over summer last year. I think around August, September. I'm like, I need to move. I need to just focus on a business, on my business, just make money, honestly. Make money and just, stay clean, do good, right? Beyond like the Batman. And then pretty much that's when I was looking at my options. Because originally my original option was moving to Thailand for 3 months. Like, cause that would have been cool. You know, going to
Hell yeah.
Yeah, like you're just like in an apartment, like a high-rise apartment for like $1,000 a month,
Yeah.
right? $1,000 a month, high-rise apartment. You know, like you don't know, like nobody looks American, nobody looks Hispanic over there. You know,
Yeah.
like it's a whole new world. Like that's my favorite part about town. And I was thinking about doing that, but then like I got hit with another opportunity here in El Paso. I'm like, oh well, I want to be spending as much money over here. I could just have a whole place, and just I don't know anybody. That's like the best part. It's like, I don't know anybody. So that's what made me move to El Paso. Like I don't know anybody, and it's a life reset. You know what I mean? And it's who doesn't want it? You know, who doesn't want to reset? You know, when things go really really bad.
I appreciate sharing that story with us, Javi. You know, the thing about that is you had confidence in yourself to just pick up and move, and I'm hoping things keep going well for you here, man.
Oh man, I've been other than the time when we hung out, but yeah, like that's only been like 2 or 3 times, you know, where like I do drink, but like I don't. But like that's 3 times in the past like 4 months, 3 months, you know, and that's not going over the rails, you know.
Okay, we were out 4 hours and you had 4 drinks. That's not drinking, bro.
Oh, I had like 6.
Well,
Six,
maybe. Well, okay.
I was going a bit crazy. Like I'm saying, I was going a bit crazy. I was going a little bit just for the drinking, but like no, it was nothing like I was like blacking out.
No, yeah.
Like driving or doing anything bad, like you know, making a fool out of myself or whatever, you know.
Right.
But definitely still since I moved out here, all I've been doing is gym, looking more into like this like trying to build the business, scaling the business, and just you know working on newer things, you know, that's more productive. And you know, hey, what are we gonna do this weekend? You know. But no, definitely I've been seeing a lot more improvement, especially in the gym,
right on,
especially on the physical part of things, and just even the mental side of things too. You know, but going back to the whole moving thing, you know, it's like it's now or never a lot of times. You know, I think hesitation is like the one thing that you know fucks up a lot of people. Hesitating.
You know, there's a book called Who Moved My Cheese. I don't know if you ever read it, but it talks about 4 characters in the book. There's Sniff and Scurry, the 2 little mice, and then Hem and Haw, which are 2 people stuck in a maze. Their cheese moves. They got to chase it down. And one of the lessons there was he went out into the maze, and Haw was able to laugh at himself. But what's interesting about it is he went out there scared and not knowing what was out there, and taking that leap, and eventually ended up a really good cheese station, right?
Yeah.
And because of that book, I opened up my whole career to working with kids, which is something I never thought I would ever do. People who knew me growing up were like, "Oh hell no, he'll never have kids. He'll never work with kids." And it just happened. And going out to the maze is probably the hardest step. That hesitation. That's right.
I can tell you one thing too about myself is the fact that like, which is also kind of screws me over sometimes too, is the fact that like whenever I see something or whenever I see something or whatever, like I hear about something, I'm always quick to just initiate. You know, but the problem is the fact that we all get distracted by that shining out there. You know, that's my biggest thing. That's why that's one is why I wanted to leave LA too, because like I was surrounded by so many circles of like people are like telling me, "Oh, hey, you should DJ and make music because you already know how to do all this stuff. Like you're good at it." Blah blah. It's like okay, but it's not gonna make me money. That's not something I want to do. I would do it. I would get distracted by it, try it, and then move on to something else. And I think now that I moved out here, it's giving me a clearer lane just to focus on like one thing and just stick with it. That's the most important thing.
7 months ago, 8 months ago, when I started this podcast, I never thought I'd be where I am today. And with Tony and Stream 915, we opened up that shop at the mall, and we're gonna have a radio station. We're gonna have a podcast studio. I'm like, wow, bro. I want to get on radio. I want to do a talk show on radio, and stuff like that. So if you do have that dream of becoming a DJ, there's a chance.
I mean, there's that thing where it's like 10 years, 15 years, once like money's already set or whatever, it's like I would definitely look into, I'd just be like an interesting plan.
With me, if I ever won the lottery, I would want to learn how to fix cars. And but I would like buy an engine block, the best engine block, and I would buy the best heads, and I would buy the best cylinders and the best spark plugs, and start building my car. You know what I mean? Like that's what I would do.
That's a goal of mine too. I definitely want to like be really more like a mechanic. Like I really do want to get like a shit box, whatever, and just fix it up. That'd be a lot of fun too.
Yeah, those monkey wrenches are really cool.
If you were to do that, what car would you do? Like, would you rebuild it?
Honestly,
have it
an '87 Trans Am, the Smokey and the Bandit vehicle. Rob has one. You remember he has a white one with the eagle in the front.
Yeah.
So you're more American muscle?
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. My dad used to own a Nova,
Okay.
but it wasn't like souped up or nothing, you know. And I know you don't know this about me, but when I got separated from my first wife, I went through a midlife crisis because I didn't know who I was. And I'd been married to her for 13, 14 years, and I got married at 19. So my whole life with her was her and me. And all of a sudden I'm by myself. And I didn't know who I was. I went through this whole process of learning who I was, and it's pretty trippy for all my friends. But I bought a Honda Civic, and I put in speakers on it. I had a boombox. I had a switch. So I'd be driving, just boom, you know, and then I had Murphman on the windshield. I'm one of those guys. Not racer, nothing like that, but that was something I always wanted to do, and I got it out of my system, obviously. But muscle cars are where it's at for me, you know, and parts are getting so hard to find them nowadays. It's really difficult, you know, even for my Kia to find a windshield for them, you know, it's hard to find that, you know, it's crazy. I can't imagine having the classic car. This guy likes Corvettes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I told him, I said, go to college, get the degree, get the job, turn 25, and then buy your Corvette. Maybe you wait till you're 30, but you want to have that one car that you're going to drive on the weekends. That's not your daily driver. You know, how about you? What do you like?
I'm super. Well, I've always been way more into like. Well, for me, first and foremost, Lamborghini.
Okay.
Car that like it's like yeah, like I need to get it. I need to get a Lamborghini. Their Porsche, Lamborghini, Porsche, McLaren. You know, I like those types of cars. You know, Pagani, definitely those. But if I had to fix up a car, I would love to fix up like a shitbox WRX Subaru.
Okay.
I think those are really cool to like fix up or whatever.
Yeah.
I like just like you know luxury cars or whatever. But if I had to fix up, probably the Subaru WRX, just because you could really like fuck up those cars. I think that's fun.
You can do so much to it, man. Like I tell you, with my Honda Civic, it's like it was. No, hold on. It was just a regular EX. But let me tell you, I was gonna say, the guy tells me you want to buy an SI, and I'm like, no, because I'll be racing all over the place. And that's just I knew myself more than enough to say, don't get into that. But the SI was something that actually the guy who my wife tried cheating on me with was into racing. So I learned a lot about racing and stuff from him. And he talked about ghost cars and everything, you know. He didn't know me when I had my speaker, but when I told him that, he just looked at me like, "You?" Well, yeah, you know, pretty fun. What do you think?
Yeah.
But anyway, let's talk about some of those actionable steps we're going to be doing, so we can learn what we need to do with changing our major in today's heat map.
Why skills and networks outlast your undergraduate degree. Here is the heat map to stop the indecision. Audit strengths. Audit your natural strengths to see where you naturally excel. Placement rates. Look at the job placement rates for the program to ensure real-world success. Shadow professionals. Shadow a professional in that field for a day to see the daily reality. Check ROI. Check the return on investment, ROI, of that degree using tools like the college scorecard.
So the heat map, that's the next part here that we're going to be talking about. The guide to picking up the right major in 4 strategic steps. First, audit your natural strengths to see where you naturally excel. You know, you got to see what you like. How are you going to go to college if you don't even know what you like? You can be undecided, take all your basics and everything. That's fine. But you have to know what you like to do. Like, for example, I'm not going to go to a trade school because I'm not mechanically inclined like that, you know. Also, you have your placement rates for the program to ensure that there's a market. Everyone is doing cybersecurity right now. There's actually fear that 10 years from now, it's going to be flooded and there's not going to be any jobs. You know, and that's a pretty scary thought. You know, hopefully by that point, you're already at a point where you get a job and you can go forward. You know, shadow professionals and doing your internship, you know, seeing what the actual job is. You know, it's hard to know what the actual job is if you don't go do internships, you know, and you might find that you don't like it at all. And of course, the ROI, the return of investment, you know, how much are you going to get back after you invest in that? Like becoming a doctor, are you going to make millions of dollars eventually? Yeah, but first couple of years is tough. A lawyer. How many people do you know that are lawyers that never passed the bar and they're personal injury lawyers? Right?
Yeah, no, being a lawyer is like, man, you gotta shoot for like those top firms, or else, it's like, dang, law school. It's like you're just working clinics and doing pro bono cases. That's just yeah.
Well, like Saul Goodman getting his degree from the Samoan School of Law or something.
Lately, I've been watching a lot of Suits, so I don't know.
Oh, that's right, huh?
I like Suits. It's cool.
Li-
It's a bunch of oral farming.
Oral farming, yeah, definitely.
That show.
I started watching this TV show Matlock
Okay.
with Kathy Bates. In the old days, he was a lawyer, and he had his own thing. I made him watch the first episode. Don't give away a spoiler at the end, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's a lawyer show. But it's not Suits. It's not anything else. It's different because there's a subplot to it that is not revealed to the very end of the first episode. But I was like, it's just another lawyer movie. We get to the end, and Connor's like, yeah, I could watch this series. But he couldn't do Suits.
Really? It took me a while because I started it like 3 years ago. And then I saw like the first 3 episodes, and then I'm like, I don't like this. But then like the TikTok edits, man, the TikTok edits.
I know.
To me, like, aura. Like I like this, and I started watching it again. I rewatched it like the last month. Started watching. I'm already on season 8 after a month, like a few weeks, right? But I started watching it again, and I'm like, okay, I kind of see like the hype for it now. Like it's cool. Like it's aura farming, right? Like it's like who doesn't want to be like just like confident, just like walk into a room and be like, no, I got this case. Why? Because it's me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's what the show is, but it's cool.
Talk about overconfidence, right?
Yeah, like I think people like that always win at the end. You know what I mean? Just go in and be confident. Just like know that you're the best at what you do, and I think that's like the important message every young man should have.
Do you remember when they met each other for the first time, Harvey and Mike?
Yeah.
They go into the room, he dumps the suitcase of pot, right? And he's like, oh, I know all about the law. Test me. Or anyone can read it. And he turns around, he's playing solitaire.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Just walking into the room being like, I'm that.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you're at the episode yet, but there's a scene that happens like that with Jessica. Where
when she quizzes Mike.
Yeah. And he goes, well, it's easier to stand in front. That's been a theme throughout the whole show. But she turns it around, she's like, it's off. Yep. That's when you're like, oh damn, she's a badass.
Yeah, exactly.
Harvey, same thing,
Exactly.
But it's just when you realize that about Jessica. They actually had a spinoff and it's called Pearson.
I've heard of it, yeah.
It's all right. It actually started picking up, but
I'm on season 8, season after Mike leaves.
I told you 5 and 6 were like really funky.
Peak. I think 5.
Well, sorry. After 5 and 6,
it gets funky. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, season 7 is the one where Mike and Rachel get married. Yeah, but season 8 and 9 is, I think that's when it gets funky, right?
7 to 8 got a little weird, but it picks up end of 8 going into 9, and season 9 is just like, what?
Really?
Yeah. Like Breaking Bad. He won't do Breaking Bad either.
They're too long. I can't.
I want to get into Breaking Bad, dude. That's like the one show where I'm like, you know what? You get past season 1, and you get like, well, see, that's the thing. Everyone always like, oh, why did I get the first season? Blah blah, right? But trust me, no TV show has beaten Breaking Bad. In my opinion. Game of Thrones almost got there, and they fumbled that bag so hard.
Well,
Game of Thrones almost did.
I haven't watched Walking Dead. We were talking about this the other day. I don't do those bandwagon stuff, Game of Thrones. What's the other one? Walking Dead.
I didn't like Walking Dead that much. These first 2 seasons were good, but after that,
it's dragged.
And I tried getting him into Dexter.
Okay.
But
I got like halfway.
He got halfway to it, and he just never finished. I'm like, dude, you got to finish it.
TV shows for me are hard to get into too. I'm not gonna lie. TV shows are so like hard for me to get into. But not gonna lie, like I said, TikTok edits is what saved. Is what made me want to watch Suits.
Well, it got a revisal. No, not revisal. No. When it comes back, a revival. Yeah, it's a revival. I was right. Okay, because of TikTok and all the edits and everything,
Yeah, the edits is what made me go back and watch it. It's like, okay, what's the hype behind this? I need to see this.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, definitely. I think you definitely, because I think going back to like the OG topic about trying different things and seeing what we like, whatever. Definitely, you got to go into because I mean, there's a million things to get into now, especially with, like going online, doing whatever. But it's more important about like what you think you can be consistent with. I think being consistent is the most important thing when it comes to picking anything in life that you want to do. Like, what can you do consistently? What can you do every single day? Just show up, because showing up really is 90% of the work.
It is.
And I think I think that's a problem for a lot of people. A lot of people don't even try. Let's see what bugs people don't even try. Like I tell people about AI. Oh, what is it? And then I tell them, and then they're like, oh, yeah, no, I'm good. And it's like, how are you gonna say that when you haven't even tried?
Right.
People think, oh no, I'm fine where I'm at. Just going to work for somebody else. If I get fired, I get fired, and that's it. You know what I mean? People don't have persistence. People don't have the will to try.
One thing I will say about millennials and Gen Z is they've taught us boomers and Gen Xers loyalty to the business doesn't matter. Jump ship, change jobs, get an increase in raise, worry about yourself. The phrase nowadays is PTO is not time off. It's prepare the others. I'm taking off. That's an attitude that in our day we're like, hey, do you think I can take a day off? And very different.
Yeah, no, definitely, man. I mean, that's why to me, like the biggest point of like, you could call me a doomer, a pessimist, or whatever, but that's why to me, like now I just see it as like, you know what, like I've just given up with the fact for a lot of people, and I'm just like now I'm at the point where it's like, yeah, like I'm happy AI really is taking a lot of jobs, because I mean, like sometimes I'll go to like the front office, or I'll go to a desk and I see the receptionist who's there on the phone. It's like, don't even say hi. They don't say hi, welcome in, blah blah. They're just there on the phone like that, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm glad AI's taking a job, because you don't do anything.
Right.
You don't help anywhere. You're just sitting there, like keeping the seat warm, collecting the check, going home, and that's it. And it's like, well, if I could have a machine that doesn't take time off, is always on 24/7, always in a good mood, why would I not use that? Place, the $3,000 I'm giving this person.
At the same time, AI is still not where it needs to be able to take care of the customer service. Oh yeah.
So quick.
But like I called AT&T the other day because I had a problem with my bill, and
I hate those bots too. I know what you say. I hate those bots.
And they're like, question, what is your question? I'm calling because I got charged for something. Okay. You have a billing question? No. And then like, well, we can send you to the website where you can no. God damn it.
I hate it too.
And I'm driving like, just give me a goddamn representative.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's not at that point yet.
It's not at that point, but like, who's to say it's not going to get here within a year, especially with how fast it's moving?
God, man.
If it can do that within a year, I mean, because either way, no one's giving up on AI. It's not going to leave. Businesses aren't just going to give up on it. At least smart businesses aren't just going to give up on it. Because think about all that data it's already collecting from all those angry people right now. It's only gonna be a matter of time before you get like such a good one where it's like, oh wow, okay, good. We don't need to pay that operator in India anymore.
Yeah, well, yeah, that was another issue because
that bugs me too. It's like, we just press one for English and then it connects to somebody from India, and it's like I can't understand. I can't. Yeah. Like I don't mean to be rude, but I can't understand. I can't understand you.
Do you know how an Indian rings the doorbell?
Oh God.
Ding a ding a ding a ding a ding. Anyway, how about we go to break now, Connor? What do you think?
Yeah.
This is one of my favorite songs called Adios Amigo. Stand by.
It's time for a break. Hot Takes with the Murph Man will return after these messages.
The station where our veterans' voices are heard. MBR Talk.
Hey, thanks for supporting our channel by watching and listening.
Find us on the web at nbradio.net.
Staring out this hotel window, many floors above. What's missing down there is love. thinking through the smoke that fills my mind. Don't worry, it's not my first time. Adios, amigo. I'm so glad I seen you. I won't be seeing you around. Adios, amigo. I've been looking for you since I stepped foot in this town. They say it's all inside, heaven and hell. What happened to that angel when he fell? Give it just one try. Tell me you don't like it. Be God for a moment and don't despise it. Adios, amigo. I'm so glad I seen you. I won't be seeing you around. Adios, amigo. I've been looking for you since I stepped foot in this town. Step outside and breathe. Play a little in the street. Hope it's not me they're sending. Move one from over there. Give the kids a little scare. Oh, these fences, they need mending. Adios, amigo. I'm so glad I seen you. I won't be seeing you around. Adios, amigo. I've been looking for you since I stepped foot in this town. Adios, amigo. So glad I seen you. I won't be seeing you around. Adios, amigo. I've been looking for you since I stepped foot in this town.
Before we get back to the show, Hot Takes with the Murph Man streams live every Saturday at 12 p.m. Eastern with Military Broadcast Radio. At mbradio.us, we give veterans a voice and help them launch their own podcasts. Make sure to visit purehottakes.com for all my socials and links to our premium content.
I mean, TikTok Live post this, no?
Oh yeah, exactly. So anyway, we're back, you guys. Now, while on the break, we were talking about medical insurance and everything, and you don't realize that insurance matters, you know, but you got to make sure you have stuff like that. You know, here we're talking about career and whatnot, and we talk about the actionable steps you can take. So we give you the map on how to get there. We talk about the terms, but right now we're going to talk about where you get burned. This is the pitfalls you'll have in our section, where you get burned.
Reframing the major decision as a discovery game. Here is where you'll get burned. Status chasing. Don't pick a program based on status if you have no interest in the day-to-day work. Income assumptions. Don't assume a high-paying major will make you happy if you hate the coursework. Ignoring data. Never ignore the data on where that degree actually leads. Danger zone identified. Back to Murphman for the warning.
All right, so where will you get burned? Reframing the major decision is a discovery game. So let's talk about some of the things you're going to get burned on. Status chasing. Don't pick a program based on status. If you have no interest in the day-to-day stuff, why bother? It's one thing to say, hey, I'm a doctor now. Just to say you're a doctor, it doesn't work that way, right? Income assumptions. Don't assume high-paying major will make you happy if you hate the coursework. That's the thing about you right now. You're liking your coursework, right?
Yeah.
Well, hold on. You're interested in it, but you don't like it because it's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're sticking discrete structures, right? How would you clarify that class? Like, what would you classify it as?
Honestly, it has to do with a lot of numbers, and there's some formulas that she showed us that I never knew of. But it's just showing us like how to do stuff like how to make stuff easier. Because it seems simple, but then I can't really explain it. You have to be there to like understand.
That's how hard the class is, okay? You can't even, no, it's because even Carla, who's a physics major, she says, oh, that's between 0 and 1. So she told me something like that. It's all binary. Like, that doesn't explain the damn thing to me, And so I'm waiting for him to finish the class and tell me how it all works.
Well, I need to catch up with it because I missed a week of work. So,
the other thing here also is you want to be aware of when you're sitting there. Hold on, I lost the train of thought there. Ignore the data. Never ignore the data on where your degree actually leads. What's the outlook on your job? There's ONET. There's things of that nature that you can go to and you can check out careers. ONET's a really interesting website. But as we talk about this, these pitfalls, if you don't really research your subject, how are you going to know what you're going to want to do, right? So talk to people, go to job search, job shadow, ask people. I'm going to tell you, when I first started here in El Paso, I got interviewed as a social worker. And the very first question in the interview was, have I ever been told I gossip too much? That was the first question in the interview. And I said, if that's the thing you're worried about me, and she says, well, you're perfect for the job. I said, exactly. You couldn't say anything like, so tell me why you think you'd be a good fit for this job. Tell me what's your experience. No, it's, do I gossip? How bad is your program here? That you have to ask that question before you get into anything that matters. And I just said, thank you. And I got up and walked out of the interview. I needed a job, and it's funny because I actually ended up working with another program in her company. So she got to see me do my job, and I built one of the most in the company. There's 3 of us, Thelma, Candy, and myself. Nice. And we built a lot of money for the company. And she's regretted, she just totally regretted it. But, it's funny. Anyway, yeah, you got to research your careers. When I was in the Army, I was a draftsman, an architect. I'm not artistic. I ended up becoming a counselor. And even in school, I didn't know I was going to be a counselor until I was like halfway through the program. I just knew it was behavioral science. I didn't realize it was counseling. I was like, oh, psych, behavioral science, whatever, And I just stuck with it because I was good at it. So I fell into my career. I didn't, like a lot of people who are counselors, I didn't go to counseling and I'm like, it helped me. I want to help others. No, I got into counseling and realized how screwed up I really was. And then I got the help I needed and moved on, Right, Connor?
Yep.
Nothing wrong with getting help.
No, but sometimes it doesn't help.
That's true.
Yeah. I consider and tell you there's people I've helped and there's people that I haven't helped. And I like to think I'm a pretty good counselor. But it's personalities don't match.
some people are really fitted for it, others aren't. I mean, I'll be honest with you, like I don't like helping others. It's like that's like not like in a way where it's like I won't give you $1, I won't like invest in your small business. I'm very for like, yeah, you know what, like I like investing in friends' businesses, or I like believing in people or whatever. That screws me up a few times before, where it's like, you know, people always come to me and ask me for help, and it's like I lay out a whole plan, or I lay out a thing for them, and then just like, okay, yeah, I'll think of it, I'll do some, you know, garage photo, blah blah blah. And it's like, dude, you know, like I don't like that.
You know, I've told you about my take a lawyer to lunch thing.
Yeah.
Where you find someone in a subject you like, and you take them out, and you get to talk work, and that's sort of like what we do. I'll go pick, you know, we'll get up, we'll go have a couple of beers, we'll talk about business.
Yeah.
You know, but it's more than that. But it is a lot about business. You know, we talk about careers and things that are happening and whatnot. That take a lawyer to lunch to me is such an important part, because you have to find people in all the different fields that you can call up and say, hey, let's go eat lunch. And you know you're gonna have to talk to them. You know, my friends who call me, they're like, hey, are you busy? Can we go have dinner? Obviously they're having a bad day, so they want to go talk, get some counseling.
Yeah.
I get a free meal, everyone's happy. You know, it's a real thing. It's a real thing. And yeah, that networking and everything is so important. You know,
I mean, yeah, no, I mean, I think definitely just meeting people, like meeting the right people too, and like cutting off people who don't benefit much to your life, and being able to categorize your circle is like super important too. You know what I mean? Like super important. Like you have friends that are just to go out, have fun, whatever, right? That's all they're gonna be for. Trust me, like that's all they're gonna be for. Because I would like, because if you go to those people and you ask them like, hey man, I'm doing this business, I need this, I need advice, whatever, they don't care. You know what I mean? And not only that, but they're probably gonna laugh at what you have to tell them either way, right? But if you, and then you gotta have friends where it's like this business, and it's like, yeah, like, you know, like all we do is talk about how are we gonna grow, how are we gonna make money, how are we gonna succeed. And you know, like you don't mix those at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Keep them what they're good for, and that's it. And nothing wrong with it, but it's just like it's only becomes wrong when you confuse it, and you think that, oh yeah, these friends are gonna be with me forever, and they're gonna blah blah blah. You know, it's like no, keep them in their circle, keep them in their place. You know.
yes, it's so true. And you know, we got to protect ourselves from stuff like that. You know, and that's what we're gonna do with our heat shields.
Exploring the jobs that actually align with your studies. When choosing a major, your heat shield is defensive curiosity. This means seeking electives, actively seeking out electives and internships that test your passion. Testing resilience, asking yourself if this choice can survive 4 years of hard work. Protecting curiosity, ensuring your interests aren't burned out by external pressure. The shields are up. Murphman, what's next?
Exploring our heat shields, the jobs that actually align with your studies. When choosing a major, it's defensive curiosity. What does that mean? Seeking electives. When you're doing an elective, you're supposed to do something outside of your normal field. I don't know if you ever knew that or not. It's an elective, it's not required. But I try to take as many electives related to the job that I'm in, because I think that's very important. But you're supposed to do things outside of the norm. And like Connor, who's going to college, we were talking about some of his electives. I'm like, take philosophy. He's like, hell no. I'm going to take jam session or whatever, you know. And I'm like, okay, I'll let you go with that one, you know. Right?
Better electives than I took. I said those were better electives than I took. I just took the electives where it was pretty gross.
Oh man.
I can't even see where they are, bro. I don't know where the pretty girls are. I have to like wait till I get into the actual class.
Just take like the most generic classes, and they're gonna be there. The most generic electives, they'll be there. Trust me. Like you take something like what is it? Like you take something like physical. No, not because they hate it once you get to college. You take something like what was that one elective? I can't think. I got brain fog.
Well, see, with me, I always recommend music, because I've never met an ugly music teacher.
Oh, teacher?
Well, someone.
Wait, you're going after teachers in college?
No.
Hey.
Oh, no comment on that one. No comment on that one. You know, when I was single, I had a student hit on me, and I was like, no, thank you. You know, just hit me up after the semester's over, after I've done your grades. You know, never did anything though, right? But it's like it was just the weirdest thing as a teacher, just having students hitting on you, just because you're the teacher. You know, it's crazy. I've made some good friends as teacher. You know, definitely like Paul and MILF. My club. No, MILF. No, it's a guy. We have nicknames in our club, and his name is Evaporated MILF because he likes older women. So it's all dry. That's fine. He's called Evaporated MILF.
I never knew his full name. Wow.
That fantasy ended right after high school.
Yeah. Oh well.
Wait,
I
what
can't say
fantasy?
that. Older women.
I'm just starting that.
I don't like it. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, I was 18 dating a 36-year-old dude. So we were in our sexual prime. It was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, like now if they're older than I'm 27, so like now if they're older than 25, 26, that's where I'm kind of like,
Well, with me, I don't. 30 is my cutoff. You can't be younger than 30.
I feel like when you raise
Half
that
my
after a
age.
while,
Half my age.
you raise that after a while.
Well, I've told Connor, if you start dating him, I need to know, dude. I've told you that if you start dating someone that's a little older than you, you got to make sure I don't know her. You got to show me a picture. Because I may have gone out with. That's bad, right?
That's really bad.
We were at his cousin's birthday party, and I sat there, and the girl walked in. She had just turned 21. This girl walks in, and I'm like, oh, I think I know her. And my sister-in-law's boyfriend was like, what? I think I know that girl. He's like, where do you know her from? She's one of your students? I'm like, no.
Oh, God.
So, yeah, I've always warned Connor, hey, you want to make sure you do that.
Make sure you let them know.
Yeah, I don't need details, but, you know, just it's funny. I've actually had a friend who has slept with the two brothers and the father.
Oh.
Three different situations, completely separate, had nothing to do with anything, and she finds out they're all related. Pretty bad, huh? Anyway, the next thing, going back to this, is testing resilience. Asking yourself if this choice can survive 4 years of hard work. Starting, easy. Finishing, not so much. And of course, protecting your curiosity, ensuring your interests aren't burned out by external pressures. You want to be able to experience life and still enjoy what you're doing. You're smiling, you're thinking of something.
No, it's because what you said earlier about starting strong.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, but definitely you got to think about what it's going to affect you in years.
Yeah, because what's okay? I've told you several pieces of advice, okay? But what have I told you about relationships in general?
Don't settle down young.
Until?
What, after college or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
No. You want me to be a hoe?
Well, yeah, it's because going back to how you said, you got to try a lot of things before you become an expert on things, right? So you got to date a lot of girls.
No, it's because
you know what I mean?
my uncle's girlfriend, she told me, she was like, I don't want you to settle down. I want you to talk to a lot of girls. I want you to like meet a lot of people in college. I'm like, what? And this is when I was like dating someone in high school, and she was like, no, don't do that. Talk to a lot of people. I want you to be a hoe. I'm like, what?
I'll be honest. Like, there's two options you really got, only because I've seen this, right? So, like, I have a cousin who's been dating this girl for like 14 years already, right? And they're not even married yet, right? But like, I don't see them breaking. No one sees them breaking up, right? So I will say this: it's either like you get super lucky and you find like the one in high school, and then you grow old and do all that stuff, blah blah blah. Or like, unfortunately, it doesn't happen. It's like, dang, you just got to go through 100,000 or whatever, like however many girls, until you find like the one and find what you like and what you don't like. You know what I mean? That's really it. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
No, life hands you those two paths. Because trust me, once you get to 30 nowadays, it's either you settle with a single mom, or you got to get your passport and go to another country.
Yeah.
Or you just got to take disrespect. You know, that's really how it is now.
Well, I'll tell you what, just put a pin in that. We're going to come back to that, okay? Because I think that's a conversation we need to have. But I'll tell you what, right now, we're going to reflect on what we talked about today in our section called The Afterburn.
Don't let an academic label define your entire career. Here are some questions for reflection. What subjects make me lose track of time? What kind of problems do I enjoy solving? What do I want to learn more about, even if it's hard? Reflection complete. Murphman, time for your thoughts on today's episode.
How slow this thing's
All right, so the heat shields. I'm sorry, the afterburn. Don't let an academic label define your entire career. What subjects make me lose track of time? You know, sometimes there's subjects we take and it doesn't work. It doesn't work whatsoever. And you're like, this is just a waste of my time. Now, I took philosophy and I'm like, why do I need to take philosophy? I learned how to think in that class. It's really cool. Also, what kind of problems do you enjoy solving?
That's a big one.
It is. Yeah. It is. Do you like steps that you have to solve, or do you like engineering things, making things, solving a problem? One of the problems I have, I'm gonna share with you right now. I want you to think about this, okay? Look at the room you're in right now. Are we centered in the room?
Oh, God. We've been struggling with this for 3 days. 3 days.
I don't think I'm going to say no.
Okay. Look how much space is behind you and how much space is behind him.
Okay.
We've taken a cord, a string from that corner to this corner. This is dead center.
That's the dead center of the room?
No, well, not apparently, because there's more room on this side than there is this side.
Yeah.
I don't think so. Well,
but I'm telling you, we've actually got a string and put it up. And yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
We can't solve that problem. Whatever. Anyway, so it's something we're going to keep working on, you know. And also, what do you want to learn more about? That's something that you got to ask yourself. Because just take a class in college and learn. You know, I took microeconomics and intro to business and realized it wasn't for me. But do I understand supply and demand a lot better? Yeah. You know. But we're going to take a quick break and we're going to come back. Actually, let me just get to the final burn. All right?
Yeah.
Your major only matters for your first job. The secret that separates high-earning graduates from the rest is this strategy. They picked a major based on a future lifestyle, not a current interest. Your major is a tool to build the life you want. Use it wisely. The final flame has been struck. Back to Murphman to wrap the show.
Statement. Your major only matters for your, because once you get into the field, it doesn't matter what your degree is. You're working based on your experience. So the degree just gets you your first job. Think about that. All right. The secret that separates high earning graduates from the rest is strategy. They pick the major based on future lifestyle. Okay. Not a current interest. So to be aware of that stuff. Your major is a tool to build the life you want and use it wisely. You know, I before I end the show, I want to thank Javi for coming on. I really appreciate it. Javi, Connor, again, wonderful show. Thank you very much. And you guys have a wonderful Valentine's Day. Right?
Yeah, Valentine's Day, Valentine's weekend. I mean,
or a bad one, but stay safe.
Yeah, stay safe.
Stay safe.
Don't drink and drive. Don't drink and have sex. And don't have sex while driving. All three can lead to an accident.
That's a wrap on this episode. If you're looking for more, you can find all the best clips from the show on our social media pages. For all the links and more information about what we talked about today, visit purehottakes.com. And if you want to watch the full replay or get access to our premium content, subscribe now at stream915.com.
We appreciate you tuning in.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Military Broadcast Radio. As we wrap up today's show, we want to remind you that the podcast of today's episode will be available right after we go off the air. So if you missed any part of the show or want to listen again, be sure to check it out. And remember, we're here to support and honor our veterans. Your stories and experiences matter, and we are committed to giving you a platform to share them. That's right. We're here to give our veterans a voice. So don't forget to catch the podcast and stay connected with us. Giving our veterans a voice.